What's up, you guys? Welcome to another podcast of Just Keeping It Real with your girls Trixie, Daisy, and producer Ricky, who is finally here back from vacation, everybody.
Hey, guys. How's everybody doing today?
Ricky, how are you doing?
How are you doing, Ricky?
With a new haircut, looking so fresh and so clean.
Looking so fresh and so clean.
I'm really tired, to be honest with you. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, in the words of Morgan Freeman, you'll sleep when you die. No, I'm just playing.
Damn.
What movie? No, I'm just playing.
Damn.
No. But today's episode is an interesting episode because Senna and I, Daisy and I are nerds. And nerds meaning we're into science. We're into Marvel, DC.
Into cosplay.
We're into anything that is nerd that you can think of. That's what we're into.
Exactly.
And we both love it. However, we are both spiritual beings as well. We believe in being spiritual beings, spiritual persons. So we believe in the supernatural as well. So that's what we're going to tap into today. And we're excited about that.
So today we're going to skip out on our Hollywood sports drama as usual.
Yes.
Per usual. And today our episode is going to be like about afterlife, life
Yes.
after death, and God or evolution. So depending on what you believe or what you grew up believing, that's kind of what we're going to tap into today as our main topic. But for right now, we'll go to our hot topics, which is going to be our nerd technology for the day.
Yay.
Of course, everybody has heard of this Elon Musk
Yes.
brain chip. It's a company called Neuralink, and from all the things that I've read about it, of course, like every trial, you have to go through trials and tribulations.
Every
And
experiment, you got to get things tested. to get it
exactly.
done.
And if you're like me and you're in the vet tech world or the animal world, you do know that they experiment on animals before they experiment on humans. And
I
they
hate that, though. I hate the animals getting experimented on. That has always bothered me.
So I could have gotten a job at MD Anderson or anything like that, and Baylor College of Medicine down in Houston in the medical center, and they do have a basement full of animals that they test on. And it is very sad. It's very, but
we know it's for the good.
it is
So we know that. But it still breaks
the
our
good for the
heart.
greater mankind,
Yeah,
or
it's
so
for the
they
greater
say.
man. So that's what they say, but
But so they do a lot of experiments on rats and actual pigs and things like that. So they experimented on pigs, experimented on about 35 monkeys. Now, 8 of the monkeys died.
what a secret.
There was one monkey and one pig that has thrived, I guess you could say, and
With the chip in their brain.
with the chip in their brain. But that also leads me to the guy that got a pig heart transplant, and it was a success. And me and my brother were reading the other day. Well, he just died 2 months later. So
Exactly.
it's, testing has to be done. But what do you think about this? What do you think? Do you think there's a brain chip that neurologically can be embedded and can sense everything because your neurological senses are pretty much all of what runs your body.
Exactly. But for me, I don't want a chip in there. That's just how I feel. Because just like with chips, they malfunction.
Yeah.
They have issues. That can happen in your brain. And to me, that's a big thing. I mean,
But what if you were in a bad car accident and you were a paraplegic, and this chip could possibly give you full body function?
but then as you mentioned, that guy who passed away 2 months after. I mean,
Then
who's
again,
to say it's a coin toss.
Trixie,
It's
that
a
was
coin
a brain.
toss.
That was a heart surgery of a artificial pig heart.
Yes, and the brain
So-
is completely more complex than that as well. It has
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
if
things
that-
going on with the brain.
Yeah.
And ones can't fully comprehend everything that goes on. Because even doctors can't determine when somebody is completely healed of a tumor sometimes in the brain. It freaks
True.
them out. They're like, well, you had a tumor just 6 months ago. Now you don't have a tumor.
How the fuck
How
did
did it
that
just
happen?
go away? You were going to die.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like a coin toss. You don't know what's going to happen. And I guess, I mean, I know I want to live a long life. So
Yeah.
if something happened like that where you're in a car crash, you're gonna be like, do whatever it takes to keep my loved one alive.
Well, do you
You know?
think that you need a brain chip to just kind of get through your day-to-day life? Like in your head, I think I want to text this person but you know how us as humans, it's like, I want to text this guy and it's like, no, don't text, but your fucking brain chip already sensed that you wanted to text this guy and sent a text message already, and you're like, fuck, how did that happen? Your stupid brain chip texted the guy because he sensed you wanted to tell him a bunch of bullshit.
That's what I'm saying.
You got to be careful. Ricky, what do you think about this Elon Musk and the Neuralink chip? And I know there's good benefits and also bad benefits, but what do you think? Would you do it?
I would definitely not do it because this is my thing. All right, because they have been talking about too, aka embedding chips inside of us anyway as newborns. My thing is the government, the high-end government. That is my biggest thing.
Yeah.
The reason why I said that is because now it gets to the point where they can track where you're doing, where you're at, what places you've been to, all that kind of stuff. So it gets kind of sketchy and really scary because you gotta think about this now. It's getting to the point where it's like RoboCop all over again, but actually being cyborg.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, it's like, yo, we already have smartphones that are already doing these kind of stuff anyway. So why make yourself that way? That's like, if some people might know this, because I do filming in, the video game side. Metal Gear Solid. If you play that game, it's like it makes you really think. You're like, yo, you know what? This actually could happen because not only that, because they do these micromagnetic kind of stuff that you get injected will actually come to where it comes to the point where if you pick up like a firearm or something, it will not work because it's ID locked.
Yeah, on which they have those.
And then say, for instance, like, hey, I need to get inside this car, and then it's like, it's magnetic, genetics type thing embedded in you to be like, hey, this only works for this person type thing. Yeah, that's just a little too much for me. I will not do that.
Well, what concerns me, Ricky, is that they already, look at how it is with COVID and the shot, right? With some jobs, you'll get fired if you don't have the shot. What if they start doing this with a chip? You just never know with the government.
And the thing is crazy because when I think of this Neuralink chip, I'm thinking iRobot, I'm thinking of artificial intelligence, I'm thinking somebody can override the system at Elon Musk's lab and take over the world by controlling everybody's chip in their brain.
A hacker can hack into my brain and shit.
Come on.
Can you hear me say, can you put money in my account?
I'm all about evolution when it comes to us evolving as a whole world, but
mentally. But not where you take over. That's just how I feel.
So I don't know. I'm gonna keep on looking at this information. It's supposedly
each month.
I mean each month because they are trying to launch it by the end of the year. So I'm definitely gonna be keeping an eye on that.
Ricky wanted to say, yep.
Yeah, go ahead, Ricky.
No, this is what I'm saying because now it gets to the point where technology is basically trying to take over everything.
Oh yeah.
We need to be to the point where we're not relying on technology so much. It's already to the point like now, even though you got your automatics, your manuals are now going away because people just don't know how to drive manuals anymore, which that drives me nuts right now. You got to think about too that it's like, hey, now everything's so embedded. Like, oh, you can do Apple CarPlay, you can do Android CarPlay. It's like,
right.
We already have smartphones. Like, why are we doing all this stuff to these vehicles and stuff? Because
extra.
Like, oh, this new improved thing and all. But then it's like now, Apple even came out. They just dropped a new glasses that's a smart glasses that you can literally you have the indicators and stuff you can call people and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, see, that's crazy.
It's just this is getting too much. Glasses be just glasses.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I know it's the same, but it shows you what can be done with it. On the new movie Scream, right? I watched the new Scream, and I mean, spoiler alert, but you'll be fine. So in the movie Scream, she
you mean it's just like every other Scream movie?
No, it's different because
it was a little different.
It shows the technology right now. She was locking her doors with her phone, and he was unlocking the doors.
Oh yeah,
because he was able to hack it. Yeah, he was in the system and able to hack it to her shit. Excuse my language. So it's unlock. Doors locked.
We just
unlocked.
Keep it real
doors,
here.
Yeah,
we're
just
not,
keep it
we're
real.
Not, hey, 18 and up can listen to us, but 18 and under cannot. So
exactly.
If you have a problem with the cursing,
no,
we don't give a. Anyway,
But don't you agree? Like in the
Oh, yeah.
movie, she was like, lock the doors, and he was unlocking them, and it's like that's.
and then the thing didn't work fast enough for her to be able to lock it back in
Yeah.
place before he came back.
So
in
can you
the
imagine
house.
a chip in your brain? Somebody hacks in there.
No, thank
Go
you.
stab somebody. Go do this. Go do that. And it's like, oh my gosh, like
Fuck all that.
And what do you do then? Well, somebody took over and messed with my chip. No, you're going to jail. You murdered somebody. I mean, there's just
Yeah.
so many things. So
Yeah.
I'm not for it. And I'm a spiritual person, so I believe that's the mark of the beast. Okay, it's a chip. I'm just saying.
She's not down for it. She
I'm not down
wants
for
nothing to do with it, and I get it. Like I said, I'll believe in evolution, but I don't know. I'll keep tabs on it, guys. I'll let you know what I find out about it when we do another nerdy episode. But I mean, this is all the stuff that I love anyway, so I'm kind of happy. Now let's go on the other end. Let's talk about the metaverse. Let's talk
Yes.
about Mark Zuckerberg and how he created this metaverse where, I mean, it's kind of like all this gaming stuff that we do already, right? But and this reminds me of The Sims that we grew up on. You know, creating your whole community, being in a community with others.
Minecraft. Kinda
Exactly,
reminds-
but he's more thinking on it on the Player Ready 1 movie, like more in a bigger aspect where like we're stuck at home all day and we're living in this metaverse. I want to live my life out there
Exactly.
and enjoy nature. I don't know about you, but I can only be stuck to technology for so long before I need to actually take a breath and breathe.
It's like Ricky said. People already are on their phones.
Yeah.
People already have Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV. So they're already glued to the TV.
Oh, yeah.
If this is what he wants to do, people are never going to go nowhere. You're never single people like us, you ain't never going to meet nobody. Because everybody's going to be, I saw you.
I mean, no,
you know?
you're going to meet people,
But-
100%,
Yeah, you're
but
gonna
not
meet
in
'em.
person, which
It's-
that's already a problem with this whole dating
Exactly,
online bullshit.
exactly.
So let's
So
be
I'm
done
not
with
for that as well. Ricky?
Yeah, I'm trying to stay away from the technology as much as possible because, like I said, right now it's to the point where everybody's so glued into their phone. They gotta be calling people. They gotta be texting people. They gotta be, oh, let me go check Facebook. Let me go check IG. This is my thing is about that is like I said, it's completely gonna take over your life and ruin your life.
Right.
And it comes to the point where you're gonna end up missing out some certain things that you could have been doing.
Yeah.
That's just how I see it because, like I'm saying, you rely on technology so much. You gotta think about this. If you rely on it so much, you gotta think about this. You got EMP now. The EMP system right there can knock out all electronic systems.
Yep.
So that's another thing you gotta think about. So if people want to get these chips and all this kind of stuff, put in their brain or whatever type thing, if that EMP affects that, it's lights out. Like, you're done. It's like, how you gonna come back from that? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta think about that.
And just think also, like, wires get crossed. And you know how if our wire crosses or the phone touches that wire and messes up? Just imagine that in the brain, or imagine that when you're trying to meet people in this mini verse and it's like the movie, like Player One, like you said,
Oh,
Ready Player
yeah,
One.
yeah.
That's what that reminds me of.
Well,
I mean, if a guy looked like him, I'd be happy.
I
but-
know that I know that us as a world union, and when I mean world, I mean the whole world.
Yeah.
You know, there's 3 different types of like world evolution that people are have. Basically, our first stage is going to be what we do now, except the world actually comes together and works together and creates a way to deal with this global warming situation that we have, and we're able to control the weather, control our world, and then move on into the stars in space and start our space exploration, which we have done most of that. We still have not figured out our global warming situation, which is okay, but I definitely believe that where we're going with technology and things, we'll get there in the next 50 years, especially if we're going to get on Mars within the next 50 years. And then we have the second, which the second is actually controlling your world, being able to explore our galaxy and planets within. And then it gets to the second, which is like full blown Star Galactica, like intergalactic, different dimensions, intergalactic change through galaxies, travel, trade. I mean, things like that. We're not quite there yet. We haven't fit the bill, but it all comes to our topic today on, life after death and God or evolution and what you kind of believe in. Because everybody, there's a lot of people that have a spiritual being in a sense, and a lot of people that have a science, mindset. Trisha, do you believe in life after death?
Me, like I said, as a spiritual person, I do believe in life after death. I believe you either go to heaven or you go to hell. That's just how I believe. And I strongly believe that because I've had a personal experience as far as in my relationship with God.
Right.
So for me, I believe in this. I believe that there's this world, but there's also a spiritual world. And I know everybody's different. There's some people that believe in science, but you know what? Science can't explain everything.
Right.
How does a person, who was supposed to die in a month, all of a sudden be healed? And they run tests and they do it over and over again. Like, we don't understand how this person's still here. And then there were people that I know and doing studies, seeing people who had life and death experiences where they were out of their body and they could see themselves, but they couldn't do anything but see themselves, but they could float onto other, dimensions and stuff. So like, I do believe I'm a spiritual person when it comes to that. So I do believe that you either go to heaven or hell.
Right.
I know about people talking about reincarnation. I don't believe in it, but everybody's different. I don't knock if somebody believes in it. It's just we all believe differently.
I mean, so I know that there are people that believe in evolution, which obviously is us growing, a species growing through, generations of years of change. And that's us as a human world. That's what we're doing now, right? That's what we're doing now. That's what we're doing with technology, things like that. I was born or was raised Catholic. I stayed with my spirituality throughout the years as a Christian. And do I still believe in God? I do. It's something that was embedded in my brain that I was raised with. Do I believe, in a heaven and hell? I believe that there's a higher power out there. I do believe that people, when they die, there's, they're made up, we're all made up of matter and energies and atoms and neutrons and things like that. And I don't feel that when we pass, that person or that energy of that person is just gone. Like there's no way. Do I know if they go to, up to heaven or if they go to hell? It's what I was raised to believe, but my science mind, as of going to school and things like that, started believing more on the evolution part.
And more logically.
Exactly, because, the Bible tells us that the earth, God built the earth in 7 days. And evolution tells us here's a planet, water, minerals, things like that.
I'm sorry, but I was not made of no monkey. I'm just saying.
Water minerals and things like that create change, and then evolution begins from there, and then things are created just from water. And so do I believe that there's definitely things out there in this universe, which UFOs and stuff like that we'll have to talk on. That's going to be a whole nother episode. But I 100% believe that. And it's more recently, I've always believed it, but more recently so with the, somebody that died close to me. And I feel the sense of his spirit around me. And I feel that somebody that was just so full of life could just, the energy and just could be like, that person could be gone like that, like in the blink of an eye. So it got me more into why we're talking about this, because I've always believed that there's different realms in life, and there is something past this, that we're just vessels in a body, and our cosmic energy gets traded when we die. And so sorry,
no, that's fine.
Sweaty hands.
We're keeping it real. Just keeping it real.
So of course I looked at a documentary on Netflix about near-death experience, and
that's a really good
and
documentary.
It's called Surviving Death.
Yes.
And it talks, it goes through every step of the situation. It goes from near-death experience and what people have dealt with in that situation, and how they speak of a place that's just wonderful. And I've read books as well on it, and everybody speaks of the same kind of experience. And then not only that, they see a bigger picture than what people tell us. Of course, they say our brain can only use 10% of our brain. I 100% believe that people that have had these near-death experiences have experienced something so much more drastic and way more out there than what we see or what we believe in on this world or on this planet. And it broadens their horizon to where they don't even feel like this is, you know what I mean? Like,
well, like I think certain people have certain gifts to where they can tap into that.
Right.
And some people may have that gift, and some people become psychics with that gift, and like that one guy who is a medium to the celebrities, Henry.
I watched a couple episodes on that.
And then there's somebody like Sylvia Brown, who we know was on Montel Jordan, and she caught out the wrong information and people shunned her. May she rest in peace. But and I know that people have certain gifts. Like we all have certain gifts. Ricky has a gift. You have a gift. They're all different types of gifts. Right. A gift of encouragement, a gift of making someone laugh, a gift of healing, of praying for somebody. Not saying you're healing them, but like even science has proven and shown people who have been sick and prayed, their brain waves start to move crazy. And then it says, the scientist was like, I don't understand. Like this person is praying and something's happening that's beyond what we can see.
It's unexplainable.
We can't explain it. Yes. So for me, I believe it. And the reason I believe it is because my son is going to be 4 years old. And Ricky, my son has never met my grandma who passed away, going to be 9 years in July. She passed away going to be 9 years ago. My son is 3, going to be 4. Ever since he was born, Ricky, it used to freak me out. He would always look to my left side, always. And I always felt like you said, like, that person's there.
Like
and I would always feel a presence. Strong. But I would just pray and I would just be like I said, everybody believes differently. But this is when I started to like, okay, I'm going to ignore it. Well, when he was 17 months, we went into my sister in her room. She had put pictures of my grandma when she was younger. Remember, he's never met her. We never talked about like to him about her every day or nothing like that. He was 17 months. Yeah, he walks into her room. He sees her picture and he points and he says, Momo, Momo. My sister and I looked at each other. I was like, kind of scared me a bit. Because how the hell does he know that's Momo? Yeah. Like, that was her at 17. Like, how do you know that's Momo?
Yeah.
So,
and then you're 17 months.
And like, you're 17 months old. Yeah, like, how do you know? So I was kind of like, oh my gosh. And I kind of like ignored it. And through time, he has mentioned to me several times, like, Mom, I see a girl or I see a this. And I don't think nothing of it. I just brush it off.
He hates the doors open.
He hates doors open. He always wants them shut. There was times at night he wants the light on. And Ricky, I'm a strict Latina mom, so I'm like, the light's going off.
The light's going off. Shut all the doors.
You're going to bed. And he would always complain for months, Ricky, months in the house about a man in the closet, an old man in the closet. That's all he kept saying, right? And this is me. There ain't no old man. It's a coat. And I'm hitting all the jackets and pushing everything aside.
Ain't no boogeyman in here.
And go to bed. And I kid you not, Ricky, he would look like this for like 20 minutes before he'd go to bed. Staring at the... I was like, what is wrong with this kid? So I'm praying against it. But then I started reading on it more.
I see dead people.
Right? A Latino version, okay?
I see
I was like, get the chancla and throw it at that dead person. But this is when I started reading more into it and gifts and stuff like that. And I'm like, Lord, I don't want my baby to have this gift. But I know through doing our family's history, we've learned that throughout our family's history, certain family members have had certain gifts where they could see into the spiritual.
Tell him, Trixie, when he was over there at my mom's house.
Oh, yeah, now, just recently.
My brother's ashes are there at the house.
Yeah, just recently and her brother passed away in October.
Pictures.
Oh, yeah.
And he, Trixie went to go stay over there at my mom's because we are cousins. And her son, the door opened. He said, Mommy, there's a guy out there. Now, of course, we're thinking my brother, her husband, somebody. And he points to my brother's picture and says, he's here, and that's who I seen. And then, of course,
he said we want to know. He was looking at me. He said smiling.
He was smiling, and we said, did he tell you anything, baby? And he said he can't talk, but he was happy and he was smiling. And that freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah, freaked me out too. Because he don't make up stuff like that. Like, he doesn't make up stuff.
But
He's
why
never
would
said
a
stories
child
like
say-
that. And he's 3.
He doesn't know any better.
And he
So-
just went back to playing like nothing. And then we went into the kitchen, probably like 2 hours later. And he's like, Mom, he left already. And my aunt looked and goes, what do you mean he left? He left back to heaven? He goes, yeah. And then started playing with his toy. And I'm like, Jesus, Ricky. I was like, this boy better stop. You
So
know?
that Surviving a Death Netflix did,
Yeah.
it went into the near-death experiences, and then it goes on to talk about the spiritual world and the different types of entities and things like that. It talks about the signs that you may see from your loved ones, which the other day I was over there at my mom's, and there's this lamp, and there's nothing wrong with the fucking
not a
lamp.
touch lamp.
I've messed with this lamp, I'm telling you. And I started playing me and Trixie's podcast on the actual, because, you know, it was 7 o'clock and it was playing. And so we put it on the TV, and this lamp is going on and off, on and off. And I said, oh yeah, brother, you see it? Do you see the show or whatever? And then it's going on and off. And I said, well, click it on and off twice if you think we're good. And he clicked it on and off. The light went on and off twice, and then it stopped. And I was just like, are you proud of me? And the light went on and off and off and on and on. And then finally it just, so I do believe that there's life after death. I believe that there's signs. I believe that, you know, I was watching Joe Rogan's podcast, and his was with Bob Lazar, and it was about UFOs and things like that. But there was something that he talked about that really resided with me. And he's like, you know, every question that you know, through the ages that we want to know is, are we alone? And where do we go when we die?
Yep. Ricky?
So we'll do a podcast on if we're alone, but do you
Ricky?
believe in life after death, Ricky? Have you seen signs?
Have you seen an old man in a closet?
I remember after my mom passed away and stuff, my son, he said that he had saw my mom one time when he was with his mom and stuff. That's about it. But I don't know.
I definitely think, like a lot of children,
I think kids see stuff because they're so innocent and more accessible to it. Like, you know, like they're more, we would freak out, but kids are so innocent that they see more in the spiritual realm than we do. You know what I mean? Because I will tell you, like, when I said about that man he was seen in the closet, I finally was like, he's been talking about this for 3-4 months. I'm tired of it, you know. And my mom had came over and she got her little anointed oil, right? Because he's like, Nana, I see the man. He said it again. And we're like, okay. And she went to the closet and she started praying, you know. And she's like, you're not going to stay here, you know, because, you know, we believe, like I said, strongly. And my mom was praying and said, you cannot stay here. You have to go. You know, you have to leave this house. You have to leave this room. You have to leave this closet. And my son started saying, yes, you cannot stay. And then we told him, is he there? And he said, yes, Nana, he's there. Don't touch him. And she goes, I ain't trying to, where's he at? I'm like, where's he at?
nobody's trying to touch him. Don't
Nobody's
worry
trying to
about
touch
it.
And he goes, he's right there, Nana. And she goes, well, you cannot stay. And then my son said, you're not welcome in my room, in my closet. That's the way he said it. So bye, mean old man. And I said, why do you say mean old man? And you know what he said? His face is like this. And he scrunched. He goes, he's mad, Mom, because the way he died. He is 3, Ricky.
Shit.
How does he
No,
know that? at
fuck all
3?
that.
He said because the
But
way he died. But you know what?
I believe him.
Yeah, he said.
I believe
he
him now
said-
ever since
but
that
he
shit.
said when he said leave, and he started praying, the hangers moved. And my son said
Nope.
he left, and has not seen him since. So I do believe strongly that people do have gifts. I do believe my son has a gift. It's not a gift I want, but I'm praying over him. I'm learning more about it because I do know in our family, like I shared, there's been plenty of family members throughout even our history of our family, and from what I've learned, that have had certain gifts like that.
Yeah.
But I do believe some people have them, but they use it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And if you use it in the wrong way and in an evil way, I think, like she said, you can tap into different dimensions and stuff. But when you use it, I think for good, to help people that one guy helps with the police to find missing people and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I think that's a good way, you know.
Yeah.
So I do believe there is life. I do believe in life after death, and I do believe in heaven. Like I said, you know, everybody believes differently. Like she's more on the science side. I'm more on the, you know, blessed are those
I
that
still
believe without
have a
seeing.
very
You know,
spiritual mind. Like
Oh, yeah.
I pray every day, and I believe that there's a higher power. You know, in my religion we call him God.
Yeah.
In other people's religion they
Yeah.
call him different. But
the Indians
It's-
call him the creator, the man in the
so
sky. So that's cool.
I mean, and there's a man in the sky somewhere we're praying to. So I mean, we don't know if it's aliens or the person they call God, but that'll be a whole nother episode. Just, you know, people that actually do paranormal studies and actually study ghosts and entities, they believe that the consciousness can survive the death outside the body.
Yep.
And so, you know, and then of course they have all their different types of what they call ghost interaction, which residual hauntings. Those are people that have died something traumatic. And
or angry spirits.
or
and then
angry
good
spirits, yeah. Then they have the
If it's slamming doors, it's an angry spirit. Okay.
then they have poltergeist, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're an angry spirit, but they do. They have bangs, they knocks, loud voices,
Demonic
moving
spirits.
furnitures. Then we have our demonic spirits, and I was reading on that, and like, there's people that say that they don't believe in the demonic spirits unless that they are spiritual like you, that believes in heaven and hell and demons and things like that, angels. Well, Einstein even believed that, of course, E equals MC square,
Yeah,
that
but he still
energy
believes
can still be converted into matter and matter into energy. So people believe that demonic entities are made from energy and matter. So that's their excuse on how that
that's why they
demons
say
can
the
be.
energy, because of the lights
Exactly.
and everything, the sound, radioactivity.
Well, and of
yeah.
course, our bodies are made up of matter and mass and energy, and that's what I'm getting to with this life after death. Once you're gone, your energy, the person that you are, your soul, whatever you want to call it, it goes somewhere. It disperses somewhere. It may not be here on this planet. It may kind of be in limbo, but it's somewhere.
And you know, there's some people that are spiritual like me that don't believe that in spirits, that don't believe in. I was talking with a family member last week.
Yeah,
and
they believe it's unholy.
He told me there ain't no spirits or nothing, or ghosts or nothing like that. I don't believe in that. I just believe that there's a heaven and a hell. I don't believe that there's a spiritual realm or nothing. So I mean, everybody believes differently, like I said, and they have faith and they're a strong believer, but they just don't believe in ghosts and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's, you know, everybody believes differently. I guess what works for you works for you.
Right.
But this episode we really wanted to do because we find it interesting how everybody sees things differently.
Right.
You know, and like I said, I've experienced it. So, I mean,
On a personal
level, like I said, with my son. So, and I know he don't make stuff up because, like I said, he's never been that kind of child.
Well,
So-
I believe you, and our family does have these kind of spiritual things. I have always felt like, which it's a sucky gift, I guess you could call it, to have. But I've always had these overwhelming feelings of something bad's gonna happen to a person. When I say that, I mean death. It happened to me with my first love and boyfriend, and I had a feeling, something told me to get away. I did. I didn't know what that was. I was 18 years old, 19 years old. And the same with my best friend after that, a year later. Something told us to just follow him home, make sure that he made it home, which we did. He just didn't stay home. And then the next morning I got a call that he was gone. I feel these heaviness. I feel the heaviness. I get a sense of somebody's gonna pass, and it's crazy. It could be weeks in advance. It could be that day. Same thing happened with Steve, and it happened twice a couple months prior to his death. The problem is I don't know how to help any of that. Like, I just get these sensations, and I get these, and in my head, you know, thinking spiritual, I'm like, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus, you know, instead of actually like really taking that in. But I don't think that there's anything I could do about that gift to change the outcome of what's going to happen.
Same thing with
Which
me,
is sad.
which she knows she has that gift, and I have the gift with dreams, and then with my hands. You know that with praying, like since I never understood it when I was 14 and 15. You know, I knew the Lord strongly because of my grandma. You know, but I went to church every Sunday.
Since when Felicia passed too.
Yeah, singing in the choir, you know, going to different tent revivals and stuff. You know, I grew up learning about stuff, and then life happened. I started changing, thinking more logically in science as well, like she said. But when I had my very own personal experience, I was 15 years old, and I went with my mom to a special conference, and they had somebody they call a prophet, which is a fivefold ministry, a person that has all the gifts. Speaking in the tongues, prophesying, speaking, you know, healing for people and all kind of things. They call it the fivefold ministry when they have all five of the gifts. Well, this lady was there. I'd never seen her before in my life. And every time I would be in worship or anytime I would pray, my hands would always get like warm. And I would have to sometimes rub them against my legs and stuff. It used to bother me. I never knew why. And I remember I went with my mom to this conference and everybody was praying. And then the lady started coming to me and hitting my hands. And at first I was about to like, hold up. Come
Don't
on, hit
even
me
come
now.
near me. You better
But
stop.
she said, fire in those hands, fire in those hands. And I was like, she goes, do your hands get hot when you pray? And I said, mind you, I was 15. And I go, yes, ma'am. And she goes, do your hands, you got to rub them against your legs? It bothers you so much. Sometimes you're like,
What?
I go, yeah. She goes, sweetie, you have a gift. She goes, everyone's different. Even if it's a gift to just pray for people for healing in their body. She goes, do you ever feel something tell you to go pray for somebody? And she goes, but you don't because you're nervous and you feel you're young and you feel embarrassed. And I go, yes, ma'am. And she goes, do it because you have a gift. God wants to use you. She goes, even if it's a simple thing to be used just to pray for someone and encourage them, do it. She goes, because there's fire in those hands for a reason. So I didn't know about gifts and stuff because I was 15.
Yeah.
But then I went to college and studied different gifts and studied about what she had told me because a year after that, we were at a prayer meeting and I was 16 and there was this guy who was walking with crutches and he was having pains in his leg. And they told me, go pray for him in my arms. You know, I remember what she had told me. So I said, I'm going to stop ignoring it and go do it. So I went and I laid hands and prayed on his legs. And when I looked up, he was staring at me. And I was like,
oh no.
Well, after we would eat at our friend's house and everybody would talk. And he said, sweetie, what's your name? And I go, oh, my name, you know, told him my name and stuff. And he goes, I just want to let you know that when everybody was praying for me, I felt peace. He said, but I felt a warmth. And when I opened my eyes and looked down, you looked up at me and it was you the minute you laid hands on me. So I was like, it would freak me out.
That's crazy.
It would freak me out because so many people would tell me and I didn't understand what it was.
Right.
And then I went to college, overseas, Bible college, and learned about gifts and learned about things. Like she has gifts. Like I said, she has a gift. I have a gift. Ricky, you have a gift. Everybody has gifts. But sometimes our mind, like I started thinking more logically in science that I feel in a way I kind of lost that gift because I went through so much in my life.
You weren't trying to be intuitive with it.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be intuitive with it. So now at my age, I'm just like, oh no. But I feel my son has it now. So, I mean,
yeah, he definitely
you just never
does.
know, guys. So
he definitely does. Ricky, do you have anything else to touch base on with that topic for today on life after death, God, or evolution?
I have none, honestly.
I mean, do you know, I mean, I know you said your daughter had some stuff that she's seen.
The one time seeing your mom, your son, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, your son.
Oh no. You said your son saw your mom. I think that I know that made you feel peaceful though. Right?
I mean, because when it happened and stuff, he was still a baby and stuff, and then like she was like, "Oh, we should go." I'm like, "No, like this is a whole different freaking thing and stuff." And then like when I got there, she passed away and stuff, because it was just, you know, her system was shutting down and stuff. So I was just like,
Yeah.
nah, I don't need that, you know what I'm saying, around my kid. So yeah, so when he got a little bit older, he was about like 2.5, not 3.
And did that happen ever again, or?
Never mentioned about it again though.
Okay. Alrighty, well there you have it, guys. That is our conclusion for life after death, God, or
Yes.
evolution. Of course, if you have any comments that you want
Leave
to
them in the
make,
comment section.
we will hit you guys back up. But until the rest of this week, we have one more episode we are filming. So stay tuned, and we will see you guys in a bit
On Just Keeping It Real podcast with Daisy, Trixie, and producer Ricky.